Welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. We are your co-hosts. I'm Brian.
And I'm Robin Joy.
And this is Coach's Corner.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, we just got back from St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri, the city of...
St. Louis.
Actually, we'd never been there. We'd been
together.
Through. We'd never been even through together, I don't think. Yeah.
Yes, I'm saying,
So it was kind of a new experience just to be in that city.
Yes.
Very nice city.
I was hoping it was going to be a little bit warmer, but it wasn't. It was exactly the same amount of cold that it was in Denver.
It was pretty much like Denver.
Yeah, it's like the weather followed us there.
But we were inside most of the time because we were at a conference.
That's right. We were at the Legends Conference.
Yes.
First time attendees at the Legends Conference.
Yes, we have tried to make it to this conference for years and never quite. Even last year, we came really close and had to cancel at the last minute because of something that came up. But we made it this year, and I'm so glad we did. I didn't realize what we were missing out on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I would say, we weren't presenting or anything.
No.
At
we
this
were
conference.
Just getting fed like everybody else. It was awesome.
And so it was just a whole different vibe to be, an attendee versus a presenter. Mm-hmm. There were at least seven other presenters there.
Did a great job.
There's a ton of great content. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about some of that today because you know what we're big on?
The WPAs.
WPAs,
yes.
Worth the price of admission.
So if you don't know this, we go to conferences or, many different events we go to, and we keep track as we go along of those things that really, we would have gone to the whole conference, the whole expense of time and money for that one thing. And we always pick up several of those at these type conferences. No exception at the Legends Conference. I think we've got a couple of pages worth, but we'll share a few of them with you.
We do. I kind of have them broken down into three different categories that we'll chat about. But just a quick recap. At least 7 speakers, a couple of breakout sessions where you had a chance to sort of deep dive with the speakers after their session later in the day. So it was interesting. And this was one of my favorite parts was these breakout sessions because it reminded me so much of the workshop that we do, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Right. Because
I'm sitting around the table with 8 or 10 other people plus the presenter.
Right.
And people are asking questions that I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
All the time. That always happens to me when I'm in a group setting like that, especially when it's a small, intimate group like that, which is the workshop is as well. That so many times I'm like, oh, what a great question. Gosh, never even thought to ask that. But what is the answer?
I think there were around 80 attendees or so. We had a great group photo, which is in the eCommerce app. If you're using that as part of the Legends group, you can pop in and take a look at that. And plenty of hallway conversations. We broke some bread with people. A lot of aha moments came out of that. And that's kind of what we're going to recap today.
It is funny to me how sometimes it's not the speakers or the structured things in these events that makes the difference. And it's no different at the Proven Conference, which is coming up in May. Mm-hmm. Sometimes just the people you get to talk to or the context of that gives you a whole different idea. There's so many ways to benefit from going to a conference like that besides just listening to speakers, although the speakers were really informative and helpful as well.
Absolutely. And we got to catch up with some people we hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Some people we hadn't seen in coming, 8-9 months.
Right, or more. Mm-hmm. In fact, one person who is a coaching client of ours, but she's kind of gone through her sessions and we don't keep close touch anymore. But I talked to her about a couple of weeks before the Legends Conference last year, and we both said, we're going to go. I'll see you there. And then I saw her there, and I thought, I'm going to have to apologize. I didn't make it last year because something came up. And she said, I was just going to say the same thing. I didn't make it last year either. I was so glad we met up with each other, and that didn't stop her from coming. So yeah, it's just great, good feeling things. All right, let's start with WPAs.
Well, let's dive into the WPAs.
Okay.
I kind of have broken these out into a few different categories.
Okay.
Hopefully they make some logical sense, okay? Or at least some emotional sense. I don't know. The first group is what I'll call the mindset and focus WPAs.
Okay.
And of course, the session got kicked off the very first thing on Friday morning with a great session by Carl Jacoby. So some of these, I'm not going to tie back each of these WPAs to a specific speaker.
let me interrupt you because actually it got kicked off the night before in a meet and greet.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Where we got to say hi to everybody, meet new people. Like, this is a great networking event as well. So then the next morning, we went to a session.
Then it formally got started.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
We got our name tags and we chose a seat and all that good stuff. Anyway, so one of the great things was, we hear this all the time, and I don't know, you say it all the time, and I think I say it all the time, which is don't hire someone in your business who professes to know what you're already asking them to do.
Yeah. Those skilled things that you really want to be done your way. Sourcing's a great example.
Yep.
If they're like, oh yeah, I'm the best sourcer ever. Yeah, based on what method do you use? Like, I want to show you how I do it, because just like tools, I don't like to use a tool to tell me what my process is. I figure out my process, what works for me, and then I apply a tool to it. The same thing goes for someone that I'm going to hire, right? You're going to do it in my stead.
Yes. Right. So you don't want to have to untrain bad habits.
Right.
You want to get them trained up the way that you do it. And so ideally, don't hire someone who's like, yeah, I'm a great sourcer. I'm a great, whatever that part of your business is.
Right.
Just find someone who really doesn't know, train them up. And that's how you get the best results.
Yep.
And this comes from experience, right?
Yeah.
We say this because we've all kind of gone down, for those of us who say it, we've gone down the road of, I need someone who will do sourcing for me, or I need someone who does shopping for me, or whatever.
You have to be very clear on what that means to you before you can hire someone.
It is, because all of our businesses are a little different. And so what sourcing means to somebody else may not be an exact match for my business.
So Carl said that, and that was a great WPA. Very clear.
Yes, it was for us anyway. Another thing that came out of that early morning or the first half of the first day was to be laser focused with your attention. Because, I've said it before, what you focus on, you create more of. And so if you focus on one thing versus a lot of things, you're going to be much more successful. Or said another way, focus on one thing or fail at everything. Okay. And, it was funny. We were watching this. We were a little brain dead. We got home last night on the plane ride home. Yeah. We just turned on this, by the way, great series we're watching called The Americas. About covering like the wildlife and stuff like that in the Americas here. And there was a classic example of these wolves who were hunting a moose, right? Right. And they were chasing this. And what they do is they chase them to wear them out. Because the snow gets deep and then they get tired and stuff,
Many wolves, one moose.
Yes. Yeah. But then what happened? Accidentally, another moose got caught up in the fray. Chase. And the moose split up.
You mean
they kind of went different directions. And then the wolves split up.
And divide and conquer.
No, and only it didn't work.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. When the moose split up,
I missed this part.
the wolves split up as well.
Asleep.
Yeah. As I said, we were brain dead, right? Yeah. And when the wolves split up, the pack became only half as strong, and they weren't able to get a meal out of that with either moose. Right?
So you're likening this to when we split our brains and try to do too many things at once.
Too many things,
then you don't have enough power in any given place to make one thing happen. Now, we're not saying that you shouldn't make lots of things happen, diversity in your business. Just go one thing at a time, pin one down, then go next. You'll learn a lot from the first one. How to build a framework, how that system goes, and then your second one should go better. But until you really get to a place on that first one, it's going to be hard to do many other things. So, Brian, I just got to ask, Aren't you glad that you were laser focused when you first started doing this? Oh wait,
I wasn't.
You were not.
I was not laser focused.
How'd that go for you?
It didn't go at all. I mean, it was
nothing was happening.
There was a little bit of going on in a number of different places.
There's a lot of wheel spinning going on. They were busy.
It's hard to try to become good at 14 things at one time. It's
very hard.
Far easier to become good at one thing at a time because you can put all your focus on it.
Right.
And so one of the things you have to do is ditch this fear of missing out mindset. Ditch the FOMO, right? You're not.
Yeah, this was said at the conference too.
That's what I say. It was the next point, just kind of leading into the next point.
Very good.
The fear of missing out causes us to get distracted. Oh, I might want to go. I might want to, and it's tough when there's a lot of new exciting things going on. You're over here trying to cook your omelet, and then there's all these other things that are going on. And you're like. And you turn your head away for a minute and it gets burned and then you got to start over and then it's just not right. You know, it's far easier for you to just focus on what you're working on, get that done, and then go on to the next thing.
Yep.
So don't fear missing out on anything. Just get done what you're working on. Then you'll have plenty of time to go do what's next.
It's true. I did the same thing trying to make an omelet for lunch today. I was trying to do two things at the same time, and it became more of a scramble. It was edible.
Yes,
you ate it.
Absolutely, yes, I did.
But it wasn't exactly a beautiful omelet like you would expect.
Well, this is why I brought it up. Not that I don't like a beautiful, whatever. It was good. Okay, it was just
careful now.
It was recent in my head. So
they're just waiting to see how you mess up here.
We prefer to have clarity over chaos, right?
Yes.
And when you're trying to do 14 things at one time, it feels like chaos.
Yes.
And we've said this before, like you are the main plate spinner for your business. You have to make sure that you start all the plates spinning and you got to go around and spin all the plates until you scale up enough to outsource and then you can start handing these things off.
You spin this plate, keep it spinning.
Which feels like chaos.
Right.
But until you get the first plate spinning correctly, you can't go on to the next one. Mm-hmm. Because then you really, really will create chaos. You don't have the first one going. You don't have the second one going. And then you're trying to potentially start a third one. That just doesn't work. Just
and then it gets all scrambled.
And then it gets scrambled. Right.
See what I did there?
Yeah. Our next section here was like operational wins and tools that we learned about while we were there.
A lot of that too.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We hear this a lot. I probably even say it a lot. I don't feel like my business is going well, or I feel like things are going really well right now. I feel like I'm in a great spot. I feel like I'm in a groove. I feel like I can't get in a groove.
I feel like things are moving slowly. Yeah. I feel like it's hard. I feel like everything I touch falls apart in my hands.
Right.
I feel like.
Well, instead of going with the feel like, put some actual measurable KPIs or key performance indicators in place in your business so you don't have to rely on how you feel that day.
Right.
Because sometimes we wake up on the wrong side of the bed and things could be great, actually going very well, but you could feel like it's a train wreck.
Right.
Nobody wants that, right?
Yeah.
So if you do wake up on the wrong side of the bed and then you go to your KPIs and you're able to look at, things are actually going as expected or going according to plan.
KPIs should be measurable.
Yes.
And you should be able to see by measuring.
Yeah.
How am I doing based on the data? So regardless of how you feel.
Right.
Whether you feel good and it's not necessarily going so well. Normally, we feel worse than it really is. And when we can, many times I talk to people who are like, well, okay, well, let's look at, what's happened. Hey, it's better than you think. Just because you feel that way doesn't mean that's necessarily the case. Right.
Yep. And if you're just getting started, you said this a lot over the last few days that we've been hanging out talking about Amazon. We actually
we do.
We actually had a scheduling faux pas, and we got there a day early, so we had a whole day to sit around and actually sit around.
We can't do math on camera, and we can't apparently book airline tickets that match with hotel.
But anyway, we got to brainstorm a lot of stuff that whole day that we had time to do, right? And I got sidetracked myself. I lost it.
The way it feels.
No, it was
KPIs, measurements.
Yeah, I lost it already.
It'll come back.
Sorry.
All right. See what you get for going off script. I'll mess you up.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, get some things that are measurable so that you can really zero in on those, and you don't have to rely on how things feel in the moment.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The next thing, we're big fans of AI. Like, we use a lot of different AI tools.
We do.
For ourselves when we're doing content. I used AI to help us create the script, the outline for what we're talking about today.
I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound like I'm an alcohol commercial, but use AI responsibly.
Yes.
That's my message.
Oh, there we go. Yep, use AI responsibly. Well, one of the great tips that came out of this, I hadn't even thought about it. Now, I like to think I'm a pretty creative guy. Mm-hmm. And I think about a lot of different perspectives about how to use AI. But one of the things that a speaker said was you can use a Loom video and Claude or ChatGPT or Grok or Poppy or whatever your AI tool of choice is to formalize your SOPs.
Yeah.
And I was like, duh.
It just hit you right between the eyes, didn't it?
Oh gosh, I hadn't even thought about that. Like SOPs commonly are one of these things. It's like, okay, I got to buckle down and do the grunt work here, right?
Yeah.
But we leverage AI for a lot of grunt work. It's not that we don't know. It's like a calculator. It's not like we don't know how to do the fundamentals, right?
No, but AI can do those reps so much faster, more quickly. Yeah.
And get reps done faster and make improvements. Yeah, just so much faster.
So this is a lot what we do with each other, Okay, so I do this a lot. I keep talking and saying things and kind of explaining where I'm going with that. And often happens, Brian says one sentence and bam, there it is, cleans it all up. That's what I mean. But I can't really get there, and you can't get there for me until I keep saying things until it comes out right? I mean, it's never.
Yeah. Well, we say the same thing over and over, but a slightly different way until we find the thing that clicks. And it's like, oh, that's exactly
the thing that says exactly what the words that say exactly what the message we want.
Yeah.
Or that.
Yeah. Like the bake sale analogy.
Right.
We were talking about how do we explain what in-stock head start is? How do we put that into real life terms?
And why we can use it to our advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
But to try to explain it in Amazon terms is just, we lose people. Eyes glaze over, and we know, okay, this just doesn't make sense. Right. So, but if we can use an analogy to help us out with that, like in the brownie situation, then that helps us a ton.
Right. And we're not going to spend time on that, but a couple podcasts ago, Coach's Corner podcast, go look it up. We explain with an analogy of the bake sale and brownies, and a couple of other analogies, I think, as well. But yeah, AI can help us get there as well. So
whatever you think that you need some help with in your business, AI could probably help you, especially if you just experiment with the prompting on it. And one of the things I'm super frustrated with lately is typing. Like, for some reason, my thumbs and my fingers don't work, as good as I would like them to. And so you can actually just even talk to it. Turn on your microphone and have a conversation. Let it go back and forth.
Kind of like we do with each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe I really am AI and you don't know it.
Oh, yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
One of the other things that came out of this was the use of a tool called Shopify, or a software as a service tool called Shopify. And we actually used to use Shopify many years ago.
We did.
When we were first, when I was trying to do everything.
Our ventures we've used Shopify for, yeah.
Yeah, but most recently when I was trying to do everything.
Oh, with your Amazon business.
With the Amazon business. I was like, okay, I'm going to do wholesale too. I'm going to do private label. I'm going to do all the things, right? Well,
I need to build a Shopify site and I need to contact wholesalers.
Right. So I needed this like business card type site that would legitimize me as an e-commerce person. And so I used Shopify to help build that website and import my catalog from Amazon and do all that kind of stuff. But what I learned this week or weekend, whatever it was, is
at this
conference was that Shopify can actually do way more than that.
Yes.
It can do a ton more than that. I was
amazed. Greg Flint. Great presentation. So funny. Made us all laugh, as did Jeff Clark.
Yes.
There were a couple of really funny guys there, which is very entertaining as well as informational. Okay. So, he made some great points and brought up some things that Shopify is doing that I never even realized they could do in the first place.
I have several tools that we're paying at least a couple $100 for that it sounds to me, and now I need to go start investigating this, Shopify could replace for me. I didn't even know it was capable of doing some of those things.
But if you're still building your foundation of...
Don't get distracted.
Don't get distracted. And this was something that a couple of people said, that FOMO, Leanna Crocco said it. Don't get distracted. Finish what you're doing and then take another step to the next thing. Don't try to do it all at once. Okay.
And this fear of missing out and dividing your attention, it was hard because every session we were in, I'm taking all these notes. I'm like, okay, we got to do this and we got to do this.
I'm going to leave the room and go do it right now.
So
that's what you feel like.
I just say, I know what it feels like to go to a conference, and we'll hopefully see a lot of you at the Proven Conference. If we didn't see you at Legends, here in about 2 months out at this point.
Yes, I'm so excited.
There are going to be multiple days and 40 plus topics being covered and all that. it's going to be overwhelming for sure.
And you're going to want to do everything.
You're going to want to do
now.
everything, yes. But you got to stay focused on what it is that you know is your primary goal.
At the same time, this gives you vision for where am I going with this? What's this going to build into? What are my choices? That I'm building a foundation for right now, right? So that's the great part about seeing all of that.
And the last category I have here is the relationship capital. Capital. Relationship capital.
Are you making up words again?
I know. And how to sell smarter. Okay. So one of the things that we hear a lot, but hopefully I can put it in a way that at least it's more impactful for me. Right? I don't know if it's ever for impactful for everybody else, but your business will fail or flourish based on who you know, not how you do it.
Yes. And this was Carl was talking about that in reference to wholesale, but I think that's so many other, it doesn't matter what business you're in, what method you're using, what strategies, who you know makes so much difference. Does it not make a difference that we know the people in the My Silent Team community? Absolutely.
We've said that how many times?
How many times?
One of the main reasons, if not the main reason for why we feel like, why we can measurably, say that we've had success for as long as we have had here because of things, the community, the mentors that we've developed relationships with, and the masterminds that we've been a part of over the years.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it does matter who you know, and develop those relationships one at a time. They get deeper and stronger as time goes by, as you experience things together, highs and lows. It's all part of it. But those relationships matter. Jim says it all the time.
Who over how.
Right.
Another thing I learned about at this conference was a tool called HubSpot.
Yeah.
Which has both a free version and a paid version.
For a CRM.
For a CRM for your business.
A free CRM.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
This can be, so use the free version.
We do, which CRM?
Customer Relationship Management Solution. So basically can help you manage your vendors, your leads, your relationships.
Yeah, it can be used in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be used for contacting people you want to sell to. It can be used for organizing many different projects, concepts.
I was thinking about this last night. In the old days, like my grandparents' days, they would have this.
Not the old days like these people think you lived in the old days.
Yeah.
Older than that.
The Rolodex, right? You'd have the Rolodex.
Yes, the paper.
It was this paper. Well, it was like a round thing. Just go look it up. Okay. And it had all these different cards on it. And those cards had people's names and phone numbers and where they worked and maybe some other pertinent information about whether they were married or had kids or
depending on what
whatever.
you needed to keep track of.
And you could keep all that on that card, and then it was in alphabetical order or numerical order.
And it was all on like a hub, and you could flip it around and find which card you wanted. Go out and call that person.
So not to devalue HubSpot, but think of HubSpot as a super fancy Rolodex.
Yeah,
that not only
much
keeps
easier interface.
not only keeps track of all the people that you want to keep track of and how to contact them, email address, phone number, website, personal details, information about your meetings, just a ton of great stuff that is
WPAs from your conference.
Yeah, I mean, you can set up events in there and everything. So it is really slick. And then you can leverage a tool like AI to go in there. And especially if you're documenting conversations or if you have emails that you can potentially store in HubSpot with your clients or prospects. And who could these clients or prospects be, by the way? These could be your wholesale contacts. These could be the store managers that you're working with. These could be
your
people
arbitrage.
Other people in the business.
These could be your people that you work with in a mentor-mentee relationship. These could be people in your masterminds. It could be any number of things.
So if you can turn AI loose on that and say, hey, based on... I say, hey, Chad, what do we got?
We call ChatGPT Chad. He's our friend Chad.
Hey, Chad, look at all the emails that I've received from, Bob, and tell me what Bob values in his communication style, and then help me write a response to this email that aligns with Bob's values.
Right.
And then when Bob gets that email from you, you are speaking Bob's language. Like how powerful.
Yeah, and it's helpful for you to remember, he's got a daughter who's about to go out to college.
Exactly.
Right? You can be relative. So one of the other things that a CRM we're getting all on the weeds in the CRM, but one of the things that a CRM can do also is incorporate relationships between all those different contacts. So, these are contacts that are in my mastermind, but this one also is a mentor, and this one also is in the MST group, but also in the Legends group. And, so you can keep track of relationships as well in a CRM. So enough on that. We've beaten that horse.
Okay. The next one I'm going to lead off with here is how to really leverage LinkedIn. It's going to be especially useful when you're doing wholesale, but even if you're doing an arbitrage model, I think it can be really helpful. A lot of us old timers think of LinkedIn as a place to like have your online resume.
Or I'll say eBay as well. If you had a big eBay
absolutely.
Business, it would be a good place to let people know who you are.
Right. So, but hold on, I haven't gotten there.
Okay, sorry.
So instead of it just being a place for you to have your resume, sort of here's my background, here's my expertise, I'm good at this, whatever. Flip the script on it. I know you like this. Flip the script. So instead of it being more of like a resume place, make it be a lead generation tool. Right. So
and this is something we got. That was a WPA.
So flip the script and don't put your resume there. Put how you help people. I help people do X.
What I can do for
X,
you.
Right. So if someone comes across your profile, and if you're doing any sort of LinkedIn SEO type stuff, people will come across it. Then they'll see what you can do for them, not what you do for you. Right.
Exactly.
What you can do for them. I solve these kinds of
There
problems.
may be a brand that says, hey, I'm trying to get started on Amazon. Who knows about that? And they come across you and give you a call. Well,
if you're doing brand management, like we heard from Jonathan Stover, then you can say, I help brands launch on Amazon, right? If I'm a new brand owner, I'm like, that's exactly the kind of person I need to be working with.
Right? Exactly. Because I don't understand Amazon. I don't want to mess with it. I've heard horror stories. Can you just run that part for me?
Right.
Or is there somebody who can help me get there?
And this would be different than I'm an Amazon PPC expert, or I'm an Amazon A+ content developer, or what all those things that mean something to us as Amazon sellers. The person who's launching a new brand, they don't care.
They don't care.
They're focused on their brand because they're doing what we were talking about earlier. They're focused on the one thing that is important to them. Right?
Exactly.
So we don't expect them to decipher what all these things mean and how they could benefit from it. Let's just come out and tell them, punch them right in the face with, I help launch new brands, or I help people sell stuff from their garage on consignment. What did we learn from Jeff? He sold a bulldozer before.
A bulldozer.
Right. Like on consignment. Like, wow. And a
on
crane.
eBay.
Whatever. Just
crazy. Crazy stuff. Okay.
And then the final WPA.
Yes.
Okay. This is from Leanna Croco, who was there talking about brand building the easy way, which is if you eventually kind of the top of the pyramid that you'll hear Nate talk about when you're doing Amazon can be the having your own brand, right? Launching your own brand, being a brand owner.
Nathan Bailey, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll have Nate's last name in the show notes.
We already said a whole bunch of things we didn't explain. Hopefully they'll be in the show notes.
Anyway, is that, last year there was quite a bit of angst around and hand-wringing and stuff around bundles. But what Leanna shared with everyone at the conference is that, you can, there's maybe some trepidation around that, and you can still do some bundles in certain spaces, but kits are alive and well. And kits are a great way for you to build a brand while you're solving problems for your customers.
Right.
And
may I interject?
Yeah.
This, and I think Leanna would say the same thing. This isn't a don't try this at home situation.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You need to have guidance in helping you understand there are some pitfalls, and you don't want to dive into one of those.
So Proven Brand Building is a great place to go to find out more information about that. Leanna's got great content out there for that. And if you were a bundler previously, maybe you become a kidder these days.
Yeah. we'll see how that goes.
All right. So that kind of wraps up the WPAs from that Legends conference, which was amazing.
You can tell by talking to us that we were really fed and enriched by this and renewed. Yeah. And we really got every bit and more than we expected out of it. So thank you all who made us feel welcome and who gave us all the great information. And Jimmy Smith, who runs Legends now, is just such a great friend.
He was a phenomenal host. I would say the venue was awesome.
And Lauren as well.
Yeah. We had a great
little game that Lauren had us play.
A
networking game.
Yeah, networking session.
It was so fun.
I was on the winning team. Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, on the winning team. I was not on the winning team, but I was winning team adjacent.
Yeah, well, you were actually adjacent.
I was actually at the same table as the winning team.
Yes.
The tables were split in two. But
just real quick, that networking exercise is something that will help. The idea behind it was that it'll help you when you're doing business building, whether it's with people at a conference.
Relationship building.
Yep, relationship building. Whether you're at a conference, whether you're in a store, whether you're reaching out to wholesalers, whether you're trying to sell some stuff on eBay, whatever that might be. We had I think we had a group of 4 or 5 people, and we had to come up with things that we all had in common. And we came up with a list of 23, and we just ran out of time. We would have come up with more, right? We could have kept going and going and going, all these things that we had in common. After the exercise was over, I kept saying, what about this? Do we do this? What about that? Right? Just because it was a great list.
Yeah.
And then what we had to do is build a tower out of the cards that had
they were like 3x5 index cards.
Yeah. And the teams with the tallest tower won. And we actually tied with another team. So co-winners. But it was fun. It was a blast.
Not outright winners.
Yeah.
Be clear about this.
Well, thanks to Jimmy and Lauren for hosting such a great event. The venue was awesome. It's in a great location. Like, there's a lot to do in that general area from a shopping and eating perspective. So,
which is what we're interested in, shopping, eating, and drinking coffee.
Actually, over lunch, we went over to a big box store, and I think someone was buying stuff while we were there.
Oh, were they really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
That's the way you do it.
That's the way you do it. Find a way. Those who find a way, find success.
Okay, so, we have the Proven Conference coming up.
Yeah.
In the last 3 days of May.
I can't wait.
Right. So come in with the mindset to get your WPAs out of this.
Yeah.
If you can find the WPAs are worth the price of admission before the conference even starts, you're going to be in a great spot. And once you get kind of tuned in for the things that are going to make a difference in your business, you'll have a long list of WPAs like we did. And then you're going to just have to prioritize them and see how they fit into what you're focused on, and then start knocking them out.
Right. Exactly. And there's always a connection to what you're focused on if you open yourself up to that. Even if it's not something that you'll ever do, there are connections if you open yourself up to that.
Now, just before the Proven Conference, we're hosting a workshop.
Yes, I love doing the workshop.
This is a small hands-on workshop. It's in an intimate setting. We're going to get down to business. We roll up our sleeves, crack open the laptop. We put some keep-it charts and listings up on the big screen, and we get down and dirty with this stuff.
We do. And we have questions and answers. We have challenges. What about this one? Well, I think this and I think that. And we have a whole discussion. And there's, because there's not a right and wrong, right?
A lot of times it does come down to a business decision. Like, I can tell you what I would do, but ultimately it's your call, right?
Right.
And here's why.
I can tell you what I've seen happen with this, because I've seen a lot of people do this or not do this. Yeah, absolutely. But to help make those decisions is huge. Anyway, go ahead.
So what we cover is, at a high level, we do in-depth listing analysis. We do in-depth keep analysis. We do
in-depth or high level?
Those things, well, at a high level, these are the
high level
topics.
Explanation of in-depth.
Of the topics.
Okay, gotcha.
So at a high level, the topics we're covering are listing analysis, keep analysis, testing criteria and analysis, and replenishing.
Yes.
Right? The replenishing.
The testing and replenishing is a lot of times where people have, they've found some success in, getting ASINs, getting things sent in, but then what's the test look like? What's a proper test? How do I know? What am I getting from that test? What am I looking for? What's my decision? And then the replenishing is the step that is even one step further. Do I replenish it? How much do I replenish it? How do I decide what replenishments are? How long does it last? What do I do when it's not lasting anymore?
This is great for brand new sellers. This is great for existing sellers who are looking to refine their process and kind of dial it in.
Right. It's also great for existing sellers who are a little bit experienced, but they need to go back and fill in their foundation, make sure there are no holes in there before they outsource.
So it preps you for scaling and outsourcing as well if you're already running a successful business. So who is it for if you happen to be overwhelmed, if you're stuck in analysis paralysis, or if you're ready to build an amazing business this year? The only mistake that you can really make is by not going.
Not going.
Right?
Yeah. Or waiting too long because it's going to fill up. Don't wait too long.
That's true. The other thing is here is if maybe you're not in analysis paralysis, maybe you're running your business and everything seems to be okay. What you may not realize is that you are the governor.
Yes.
The bottleneck of your business. And if you are looking to scale this and take it to the next level, you need some systems, frameworks, SOPs in place so that you can start handing those things off, set your KPIs, and be able to be the business owner and work on your business more than working in your business.
Exactly. Because what do we want? We want a predictable, sustainable, scalable business.
Yep.
A lot of people have been doing this for 2, 3, 4 years and haven't gotten past a certain point. They just need the next push to get there. This is a place for you.
So imagine you wake up the day after the workshop feeling super confident that you know how to go find your new test ASINs anytime that you want to.
And what to do with them and how to manage them.
No guesswork, no hesitation. You got this thing nailed down.
Yeah, that feels good.
It does feel good. I feel awesome about it.
I do.
So here's what you do. Go to provenamazoncourse.com/100. Okay, fill out a form. You can actually pick a time for someone from our team to give you a call back.
When it's a good time for you.
When it's a good time for you. They'll answer all your questions. They'll get you booked in so that you can have your seat saved, and we look forward to seeing you there. Okay?
Yep. But don't wait because it's going to fill up.
Well, I would just say this. Don't risk your dreams not coming true because you skipped this in 2025, right? This is going to be the momentum that you need for this year.
Are you serious about making this a real, predictable, sustainable, scalable business? If you are, this is a step not to skip, no matter where you are in your business. Get yourself there. Make sure you've got it all down. Hey, so before we get to the quote, Brian, one more thing I want to bring up that was a WPA for me for sure. When we talked to a couple of the coaching clients that we've been working with, they happen to be sisters. And one of them was moving just before the conference. What did she tell you?
She said, well, they were like out of gas, right?
Yeah.
It was Thursday night.
Toast.
It was Thursday night. We were doing the meet and greet from 5 to 7, or no, 6 to 8.
Yeah, of course, there's all the time zone changes.
And we actually saw them come in. They had their bags and everything. They go up to the room. They drop them off. They come into the into this area where we were doing the meet and greet. And they're like, "Yeah, we're out of gas. We're just toasted." Like,
yeah, but they didn't skip. They didn't skip.
And I'm like, "Well, what's going on? What happened?" Like, well, here's what was going on. I was moving out of a place, which kept us up until like early in the morning.
Yeah, they're sisters, so they were helping each other.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 in the morning. And then they went to sleep for a couple of hours to get a little bit of rest because they needed to. But they had to get their shipment out
before they got on the plane.
To
go to the conference.
And so I just was so inspired by this.
They had committed themselves that this shipment was going to get out, their consistent shipment that they promised themselves they were going to do, and they made it happen. This is what I mean when I say those who find a way find success. They didn't say, "Oh, I was so busy and I couldn't get it done." They found a way to make sure that got done.
Said, "Oh, I need an extra 90 minutes of sleep.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip my shipment this week." Nope.
And they didn't say, "Oh, I can't make it to the conference on time," or "Oh, I'm going to halfway do the conference because I'm tired." They did that too. I'm so impressed with these ladies. I'm sure you'll be hearing from them both soon.
Anyway, you want to make things happen. Make sure you get a shipment out every week, just like the folks that we're talking about today.
Let's do it. Okay, so do you have a quote for us today?
I do have a quote. This quote comes to us from Alex Hormozy. Alex is everywhere these days, by the way.
Yeah,
he's got so much good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's a little bit longer, but it goes like this. Kind of ties in pretty well with what we were just talking about. You have to take risks that other people won't take. You have to work while others wait. And you have to keep going when others quit.
Yeah. You have to keep going.
This is if you want success, if you want things to happen, right? And this is exactly what I was talking about with the folks that we were chatting with that Thursday night.
Yeah.
They were making things happen.
I'm impressed.
They were not pausing. They were not waiting.
I am not only impressed, I am inspired.
Yeah, that's what I was too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys do the same thing. So what happens? How do we get a shipment out? We got to
test more ASINs.
Go test some more ASINs.
Let's go test some more ASINs.
Let's go find some.
Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode. Before we go, once a week or so, we love to bring on my good friend, Jeff Schick. He's been serving our community with excellence for quite a while now. So many users in our community, so many sellers, I should say, use his services with anything Amazon legal or policy. He's your man, and he's always got some good insights for us. So what do you got on your mind today, Jeff?
So want to just talk quickly about Amazon and their reimbursement claims process. So some sellers are unaware. Believe it or not, I talk to sellers that don't know that Amazon loses inventory in their warehouse. And historically, the way Amazon worked, if they lost or damaged items in the warehouse, they would not reimburse you proactively for it. You have to request the reimbursement. Now, under the latest rendition of the reimbursement policy that's is currently in effect, you have 18 months to file those reimbursement claims, or else you forfeit the right to it. So what that means is that if you go in and file claims, you can go and look at inventory for up to 18 months from today, going backwards, and file claims today for those damages and losses and such. But however, the big thing that's changing is that on October 23rd, that 18 months is changing to 60 days. So we're going from, a very long time to only 60-day, look back period. So very much shortened. And anyone who has, claims that are greater than 60 days, but less than 18 months as of October 23rd, you can't claim those. Amazon just gets to keep that money, and that's it. So what that means is that you've got less than a month now to go in and submit those claims. Now you can either do it yourself, you can utilize a service, or for clients that are in our reimbursement service, it's actually complimentary. We'll go in, our team of former Amazon, seller performance associates will actually go into your account. They'll look for those claims and those eligible inventory. They'll submit them on your behalf, and then you get to keep the money. We don't charge a service fee. There's no commissions. So if we recover, we recovered $4,000 for one seller the other day, and they got to keep $4,000. And they didn't pay us anything extra beyond their monthly retainer cost. So definitely worth it to have us go in. If you're one of our clients, or if you want to become one of our clients, we can go in and get you some money back from Amazon, hopefully. Starting November 1st, they're allegedly going to be proactively reimbursing people. But as most Amazon programs go, oftentimes the marketing speak and the SOP speak are two different things. So we'll see how that
Sure. Makes total sense. So there's a window of opportunity right now for no additional cost besides your very low monthly retainer fee. You're providing the service of reimbursement.
Exactly.
Basically. So yeah, fantastic. It's something, if you've been selling on Amazon for a while and you haven't turned this on, Amazon probably owes you money. Yeah. And you might as well just get that as a great side benefit of working with Jeff and his team just by putting them on retainer. So jeffschick.com, SCHICK, jeffschick.com is the website. And you guys have been a great sponsor of our community for a long time. Thank you for the great nuggets and the tips that you give us every week. Man, let's do this again next week. All right.
Sounds good. We'll be here.
Appreciate you, Jeff.
Thanks for listening to this great episode of Silent Sales Machine Radio. We have a very quick announcement that you don't want to miss right now.
Does anyone out there ever feel uncertain when choosing an ASIN to test? Like, it's ambiguous and you're not really sure.
Yeah, or like you have to stand on one leg on the second Tuesday of the first week of the month if the moon is in retrograde.
Right. And hold your mouth right. You got to remember to hold your mouth right? Then you might possibly
consider testing that ASIN someday, maybe.
Right. Sometimes Keepa seems overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Like it's got so many data points. What if I'm missing something? I'm afraid I'm missing something, so I don't want to pull the trigger. Right?
Yes. Well, we host a 2-day workshop that will demystify the process of building a predictable, scalable, and sustainable book of business on Amazon.
Yeah, it starts with a pre-flight inspection of a listing. So you can answer the question, should I go any further with this ASIN or do I need to move on?
If you get past that, we're going to show you how to apply 3 simple yes or no questions that will help you decide whether to pull the trigger or not.
Yeah.
You know, like, is this even a good ASIN to test?
Right. And if you do decide to test it, we'll help you implement a framework for a 4-week testing process. And this process is clear and methodical, and it'll tell you whether you should replenish that ASIN or not.
Now, in these 2 days, we're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to practice how to apply these critical concepts together. It's intense, it's focused, and it's packed with frameworks, quizzes, and actionable information that really is going to stack the deck in your favor when finding your first 100 replenishable ASINs.
Or your next 100 replenishable ASINs.
Yes, I love it.
Yes. You're going to leave with a roadmap to create your foundational book of business over the next few months.
Our next workshop is May 27th and 28th in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, but seating is limited. It's an intimate setting, but you'll be able to ask all of your questions, plus you'll hear all the questions of the other attendees.
Yeah, this is fun, dynamic, educational. It's a great experience where you will get to meet and work with other people who are doing the same things that you are with similar goals. Mm-hmm. Imagine how you would feel when you get back home after the workshop and you're feeling transformed from unsure to certain, from cautious to confident, from overwhelmed to empowered.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to stand on one leg anymore and hold your mouth right. Just
Right.
making sure, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So if you would like to feel that way, go to provenamazoncourse.com/100. That's provenamazoncourse.com/100. And we look forward to seeing you there because we're inspired by the accomplishments of others.
We're passionate about helping others reach their goals.
And we're committed to sharing the keys to success that have been shared with us.